Hello everybody, this is FC7, and today I thought I would do a walkthrough of the Shaman Epic 1.5, the crafted Talisman of Fate. This week I was doing some editing here and finally got this video together. It was a pretty good quest, pretty straightforward. The only thing I could recommend is that your alchemy skill is at 100 and you have some knowledge of the Plane of Justice trials. And of course you have to have your 1.0 are the pre-quests completed. I have a video on the pre-quest. I uploaded that last week if you want to check it out. So let's get started. It all starts in the Jade Tiger's Den in West Freeport. And you have to talk to the Elder Spirit of Enlightenment, and it's on the second floor of the first room on the left. And I'll show you the location. This is zoning in from Plane of Knowledge. So it's a nice easy run. I know the new Freeport can be kind of a mess, but luckily we don't have to go too far into town. The tavern we need is right here, so it's really easy to find. And the NPC we need to talk to is this wolf. So you start out the quest by hailing him and going through the dialogue. And I'll have the dialogue up on the screen. And I'll actually be doing this quest with a few of my ults. They're all like level 105. My Shaman's level 85. He's one of the heroics that they were giving away for free during the 18th anniversary, so know a little bit about him. So if you see my alts in these videos, that's why. Okay, so next step is to go to Lake Rathtier and talk to Kim McChannel. And here's the area on the map where she's located. And then you go through the dialogue. As you can see here, my level 105 druid's helping me out. And the next step is to head into the water area right next to her. And you'll find a giant shark called the Ancient Megalodon. So you have to defeat him and loot the lustrous seaweed he drops. So for this part, I'm going to have my druid actually do it because I'm not too familiar with the Shaman class. So we'll just have my druid come in here and defeat the giant shark. And I find druids are extremely helpful in these kind of quests. So there's a shark at the bottom of the lake. And this part actually surprised me because he drops a chest after you defeat him, which is kind of strange for a 1.5 quest, because I can see back in the day maybe people abusing that mechanic. But anyways, so you loot the part you need, the seaweed, and you give it to her, give it back to her, and you should receive a twine wrapped lustrous seaweed. And now you need to go to Fungus Grove. So you have to find Lupert Nulka. I'll have him up on the map in a second. And you'll have to hail him, and you'll have to say the Elder Spirit of Enlightenment sent me. And then go through the rest of his dialogue. So what he wants you to do is defeat a mob named Shuddering Fungus, which will spawn directly underneath where he is. and you have to loot 2 bleak funguses. They don't drop all the time, they drop once in a while, so this is exactly where he'll spawn. So there he is. He'll be a little bit bigger than the rest of the funguses that spawn around the area. So you'll need to loot 2 of these. And once you get 2 of them, you hail him again. And the next step is go into the Twilight Sea. So we'll have to find a mob named Tilkle Hulk. And I have a location up there on the screen. I decided to show the map a little bit differently, so the aspect ratio of the screen might be a little off right now. I just thought I would adjust the screen so I make it clear exactly where he's located. So he's going to want 3 items that are ground spawns in the zone. And I'm going to show you exactly where like all of them are. There's actually 4 of them that spawn, but you only need to hand in 3, I'm told. So the first one is in a location I'm heading to. But like I said, you only have to hand in 3, but I handed in 4, so. Just go across the lake directly across from him. And I kind of messed up on this point, so I apologize. I messed up and went to that side of the bridge instead of the other side here. So there's where I'm supposed to be. And there's the ground spawn. And the next one is on the map. If you can see that green dot that was to the north, that's actually my druid. The druid actually found the ground spawn, and then I just ran to him. I should have just had my mage, but decided to have my druid do this. If I had a mage, I could just COH him right over, but for purposes of the video, it's better that, you know, people just see exactly where it's located. So there it is. It's a hard one to see. And the last 2 are actually located underwater. And I had the locations of each one if you'd rather like search for them yourself by location. Just rewind the video a bit, and I have all 4 locations up. But here we go with a 3rd one. And the last one is actually super easy to find. I should have done this one first, but I didn't know about it. So it's right by this NPC, this dwarf. So you find him, and the ground spawn is like right next to him, out a few feet in the water. And they're called twinkling shrubs. So then you give 3 of them back to Tilkle. And you receive a tied twinkling shrub. well, tide twinkling shrubs. Okay, so the next step is to go to Cobalt Scar inside the sunken ship. Location's on the screen, but I'll show you the run. So you just zone in from Guild Hall and just make the run out to the middle of the lake. Make sure you have Levitate on. You'll need to find an NPC named Yopa Greenthumb. And then when you meet her, you have to say the Elder Spirit sent me. So I don't think you just don't have to hail these guys, you actually have to say the Elder Spirit sent me. I don't know why that is, but I found that to be true after doing this quest. You can't just hail them, there's some kind of like invisible flag where you have to say the Elder Spirit sent me. Okay, now 3 sharks will spawn in back of you, and you have to defeat them and loot brittle burned bark. I'm not sure how a lower level would do this, but this is mostly just for level 105s that want to finish up some older quests on their alts. Maybe somebody on the progression servers, if they're doing this. I apologize if I don't have any tactics, but at 105, these guys are all like pushover, so not exactly sure what kind of spells they use and stuff like that, or how hard they hit for them. But anyways, after he's defeated, loot the brittle burn bark. There it is. And he moved to Shadeweaver's Thicket. And this part, I thought I would show you how to do the entire run. This is zoning in from Plane of Knowledge, but it's kind of a hard area to find. So as you see on the map, I'll just leave the map up the whole way, because Shadeweavers is a huge zone, and this mob is like in a tunnel that's underneath the zone, kind of. Took me a while to find it. If I didn't have my druid's tracking skill, I don't know how long it would have taken me. But that's one of the reasons why I'm making these videos, so people can know exactly where some locations are. So the mob we'll need to find is named Wanshia Kashra. And around here in the tunnels. Sorry if this part of the video kind of drags on, but I thought that for the purposes of people doing the quest, you might want to know exactly where it's located, because this cave entrance is kind of hard to find. I also forgot to mention at this part, make sure you have 1,000 platinum on you, because you'll need to hand Wanshia 1,000 platinum. So make sure you have that before you zone in, or if you have your veteran reward banker, you can just use him and get the platinum that way. Okay, so there's the entrance you need, right in the middle of the zone almost. So you hail her, and then you say the Elder Spirit sent me. Give her 1,000 platinum. Oh, it's a him. And then you'll receive a thatched medicine bag. I'm sorry, I remembered him as a her. But I guess it's, you know, okay because it's a cat person. So, but okay. Anyways, now we have to head to the Warrens. So you got your medicine bag. Now we head to the Warrens. And you'll need to find Wilsilk Gisel. Gissu. This part's a little bit difficult. I had hardly ever gone to the Warrens, so I'll try to exactly point out where the NPC you need is on the map here. I know at this point you have to fall through the floor. There's like an invisible floor you have to fall through. Okay, so you'll have to hail her and say the Elder Spirit sent me. And this is the part where you'll need at least 100 in your alchemy skill. So what I did was I had to take a break and work on my alchemy skill here. So after I got my skill up past 100, I came back. So at this point, you combine the 2 bleak fungi with the thwine-wrapped lustrious seed in your medicine bag, your thatched medicine bag, to create the shadow pulp. This requires a minimum alchemy skill of 100. So once you complete that step, you combine the brittle burned bark with the tied twinkling shrubs to create the brittle twigs. And that's also a minimum alchemy skill of 100. And then you say, I've completed the first step. And then you hand her the shadowed pulp and the brittle twigs. And you receive a distilled potion of endurance in return. So basically you combine 2, and then you combine 2 other items, hand them in, and then you receive the distilled potion of endurance. So now it's back to West Freeport, and you hand the distilled potion of endurance into the Elder Spirit of Enlightenment, and then you go through the dialogue. And there's quite a bit of dialogue at this point, but I recommend going through it all, because with these epic quests, like, you have to really go through the dialogue because there's hidden flags all over the place. So you'll receive the potion of substance after you complete the dialogue tree. And then the next step will be to go to the plane of justice. So kind of like with the Monk Epic 1.5, I'm not going to go through exactly how to do the plane of justice trials because it's kind of involved and complicated. But if you're familiar with them at all and how to request a trial of torture, it's pretty easy. And you'll need to defeat Punisher Veshtak and loot the blessed Talisman of Patience. So if you go up to the specific NPC and say I am prepared, and then say I am ready to begin the trial of torture, you will immediately be teleported into the trial. Maybe I'll include a link to a really good write-up on how to do the justice trials. But the most I can offer is just showing you exactly which NPC you can talk to. It's really not that difficult. You should just be able to request it if you come into the zone and get to that NPC and just say those phrases. So here we are in the actual trial of torture, and really you just have to run around and defeat all the NPCs that spawn. I recommend having an alt or two just wait at the zone and area. And don't DPS too quickly, because that can bug the trial. So just kind of take your time. So take your time, DPS slowly. And there'll be like 3 waves of NPCs that attack, and then there'll be one name that spawns. It'll be the Spectre, Wrath of Agony. He can either spawn in the chamber, or he can spawn right where you zone in at. So make sure you have the zone in under control. That's one of the steps that I kind of messed up on when I first started doing these, because I never did this when it was current content, so I didn't know how to do the trials. I haven't done the justice trials since this year, as a matter of fact, when I was doing my write-up on the Monk 1.5 quest. So I really didn't have any experience with this at all. So you have to check up at the zone and area. That Spectre can either spawn there or in the middle, right over here. So if you do it correctly, at the end of the waves, like 3 waves, this guy will spawn, Punisher. And you just need to defeat him and loot the blessed Talisman of Patience. And I really apologize if I'm not too clear on the specific trial. I admit this is probably my weakest part of this particular video. I apologize if I didn't explain it correctly. But here we are in the plane of sky, because this is the next place you'll have to go to. You'll have to get up to Pegasus Island, and you'll need to find the Eternal Spirit and hand him the Potion of Substance. In return, you'll receive a blessed Talisman of Wisdom. And this is another step where it's too long and complicated to exactly explain how to get up there. If you're not familiar with the plane of sky, maybe ask a guildmate, because there's keys you need to each island. There's really good write-ups on the web, but it's like too complicated, and it would take up too much time if I explained how to do it now. Okay, so there's the Eternal Spirit, and we have to hand him the Potion of Sustenance, and in return you'll receive a blessed Talisman of Wisdom. Now you have to return to West Freeport and hand in the Talisman of Patience and the Talisman of Wisdom. Go through the dialogue. And at this point, you return to Shade Weaver's Thicket. So you'll be doing a lot of running around at this point. So then you hail Wishuni and go through the dialogue, and he will tell you to go to the Crypt of Decay next, one of my favorite zones. And you have to defeat Spirit Seeker Nadux and loot the Ring of the Undead Spirit Charmer. And don't worry if he's not up, because what should happen when you zone in is he'll spawn right away. But I don't think he is killed anymore on the servers, so you don't have to worry about him being up. And there's a spawn point And I actually remember this guy from way back in the day. It's my favorite zone. I remember trying to defeat him, but having trouble with my necromancer. So then you have to loot the ring of the undead spirit charmer. Next up is to go to the Umbral Plains and defeat the Netherbean Swarm Fiend. You'll need to loot the Amulet of the Spiritists. This part was pretty fun. His spawn location is right next to the stairway up to Vexthal. This guy was actually tougher than I thought for level 105. Not that he got me under 99% on my necromancer, but it took a while. He was very resistant to a lot of spells I was casting. I recommend using corruption spells on this guy, because I think he resisted a lot of my fire spells. So after you loot the ring or the amulet, after you loot the amulet, you have to go back to Shadeweaver's Thicket and give both items to Ashini. That's the ring of the undead spirit charmer and the amulet of the spiritists. So hand them in, and now you go back to West Freeport and go to the Elder Spirit of Enlightenment. So here we are back in West Freeport again, talking to the Elder Spirit, saying my business with Ashini is finished, and you'll receive the gem bangle of Enlightenment. And now it's on to Lake Rathtier, and you'll need to return to Kim McShennel. I recommend, like I said, having a druid with you to port, and possibly having a mage with you for Call of Heroes. So then you go through a dialogue after you give her the gem bangle of Enlightenment, and you'll receive the Hiokia medicine bag. Go through her dialogue again. There's a lot of dialogue at this point. And you'll receive the medicine bag, and you're supposed to do some combines, but you have to go out and find the ingredients for them. So the next step will have you go into Dranic Scar, and then you'll have to go to Crypt of Decay, and then the Grey, and then Howland Stones. But we'll start in Dranic Scar. And you'll have to loot 3 perfect marked Ukin skins, and I'll show you exactly where the mob that drops them are. There's actually 2 mobs in the zone. One of them, my druid, is camping right here. And the other, my necromancer, is camping. I'll have both locations on the map, so it can be either of these 2 Ukins, the Gutfester or the Slave Hunter. So just camp those 2 spots. It took me maybe an hour or 2 to get the 3 items that I needed. So after you loot 3 of those, you go to Crypt of Decay. This part is super easy. Just gather up all these knights, the elite corrupted knights, and just destroy them all, and you should get the drop you need in the first 5 minutes of being in the zone. Or at least I did. So the next part has you go into the gray, and this is the zone just right outside of SSRA, and just defeat the Sun Reverence, and I'll have the location of them. They only spawn in like one spot in the gray, so you'll have to wait for them to respawn. They're all around this little lake area. So just go in a circle and defeat them all, and just wait for them to respawn. And you'll need 4 Reverent Teeth. This is in the northwest corner of the zone. So there's the item you need. You'll need 4 of them. Alright, so after you get 4, it's on to the Howling Stones, also known as Charis's, if I'm pronouncing that right. I don't know why this next zone has 2 names, but whatever. It's always been like that. So at this point, you'll need to defeat all the pulsating biles in the zone and loot 2 corrosive goos. So what I did was just park my shaman in the middle and just have my necromancer run around to all 4 wings of the zone and use the advanced looting feature on my shaman just to go through and loot the corrosive goos. It was pretty easy. Okay, so now go back to Lake Wrathtier and do the combine. You need to combine the 3 perfect mark Ukin skins and the corruption powder, the 4 Reverend Teeth, and the 2 corrosive goos in the Hiroka medicine bag. This creates the shaman's precious diffusing agent, which you need to give to Kim. Hand it in, and you'll receive a rune purse of the McShannels. And you'll need to take that to the Elder Spirit in West Freeport. So here I'm handing in the combine. And then receive the purse. Now go back to the Elder Spirit in West Freeport. Go through the dialogue after handing in the ruined purse. And you receive your Epic 1.5. After you say acknowledge me. So that's about it for the quest. Thank you all for watching. I hope this helped anybody that was having some problems, or maybe somebody that just wanted to watch for the heck of it. Thanks for watching. Any questions or comments, leave them below. Thanks.